So I'm switching to the Torqhead on the LT1. Oh, I don't want to focus. I had the LTCC, and that thing did me great forever, for the longest time. But I don't know. I had the intake ported. I put a bigger throttle body in. I changed the injectors and put a bigger fuel pump in it and upgraded the rear end and everything like that because I wanted to get some more power. Plus I wanted to switch to E85, but for some reason it had a miss at 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. That was the only time it did it. And I've checked everything. I've checked the volts on the harnesses for the coils. I checked the ground. I checked the same thing on the injectors. I checked all that. I rechecked all the grounds for the car itself. Check, make sure all the injectors were spraying properly. I even did the E-Hax cylinder test that E-Hax has, and it came back all cylinders were running even. But I mean, it only do it like if I was merging on the highway, you'd hit 2,000, 3,000 RPM in between there, and it would just start backfiring. But it wasn't in the tune because I messed with that forever. I even paid somebody to mess with it, and it was still there. So I thought I'd switch to Torqhead and see if they'd fix it, because I was wanting a reason to switch to Torqhead anyway. But after I'd checked these plugs before, and that's, I won't focus. There's 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. This camera does not like to focus. And then 2. And I didn't, last time I changed these plugs, I changed the plugs when it was doing it, which they were brand new plugs, but I changed them. I didn't see this before, but that plug's a little wetter than the rest of them. So is this one. That's 6. If it'll focus. There, well, it tried. There we go. Yeah, see that one? That one's 6. Again, that one's 4. And here's 8. I need a new phone. But anyway, they all have that brownish burn look to them, except for those two. They're like wet looking. But anyway, so I bought new coils. I bought new coils for those because I don't know, just to make absolute sure. And there's the coils that I'm using. These are old coils. They came off a 2003 Silverado. People say these coils are bulletproof, but I've had one of these completely fail already. And I've used them for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. And no telling how many miles, I don't know exactly how many miles I put on them, but there ain't no telling how many miles were put on them before that. But I don't know, just because them plugs look like that, I thought I changed them coils just to, I mean, if you're going to spend that much money on Torqhead, I guess might as well spend another $60 on some coils you think might be questionable. I mean, but the coils ohmed good. I don't know how to ohm them coils really. I just probed around until two of the prongs ohmed out. I thought it was supposed to ohm from one prong to where it actually shoots the spark out, but I couldn't get a reading there. I could just get one reading on two prongs. That's all I could get. But I don't know how exactly to ohm them out, but they all ohm the same that way anyway. But if y'all have any input on how to ohm them coils out properly, I'd love to hear that input. I'm gonna go over some flex fuel stuff here in a minute. Oh, another thing on the LTCC. That LTCC, it still uses that optical sensor behind the back in the back of the opti there, and which I had two good sensors, but I was thinking it was the optical sensor what was causing that problem. So I bought 4 parts store optis. And this is one of the main reasons why I'm switching to Torqhead. I bought 4 of them things. And as soon as I plugged it in and turned the key on, they set code 16, low resolution signal. They were bad right out of the box. I even ordered one from a place that just sells the sensor. It was bad right out of the box. I come to find out the one that I had in it, which we tested on a buddy's car whose sensor went out, it was good. And then I had a Mitsubishi sensor. I was talking to a guy on eBay that rebuilds the optis. He said them Gen 2 optical sensors never go bad. They just get dirty. Well, I cleaned mine. The reason I thought that one was bad when the car was completely stock was because when I first bought it, the water pump shaft was, someone put the seal in wrong and it was leaking. And then the thermostat, this is when I first bought the car, the thermostat bolt was stripped out. And it was, that opti was full of antifreeze and oil. I mean, it was full. And I don't know, I just replaced the whole opti. And I replaced the opti then, and the first one I bought, it did good. And then when I rebuilt the motor, I bought another opti just because I wanted new parts on the car when I rebuilt it year before last. And it did good. It's just recently that I don't know if a bad batch of them sensors have got out and only one person makes them anymore. I don't know. But they were all bad right out of the box. So, and you hear horror stories about that. But that's why I'm switching to Torqhead. You don't have to mess with that sensor no more. The LTC is awesome if you can get a good sensor. But if you have a Gen 2 sensor, Mitsubishi sensor, hang on to it. Them things just get dirty. Clean them out with, I cleaned mine out and we put it on another guy's car and it worked awesome. Just clean it out with, I used electrical cleaner and that compressed air. And it cleaned it all out and put it on a car and it works awesome now. But anyway, now I was going to talk about some flex fuel stuff. I got sidetracked there. Working on installing a flex fuel sensor. I'm going to switch over to Torqhead. Here's the harness. I'm going to switch over to the Torqhead, and they said at Torqhead that the flex fuel sensor will go off of pin 1 on the red connector, which if you have a 9697 wiring harness like I do, the crank position sensor connector, I've got the whole wiring harness from the bottom of the car laid up here. I'm going to reheat wrap that with that heat wrap because there was some already on there, but it burnt through right there. But none of the wires were damaged. Already looked in there. But yeah, I'm going to heat wrap that up good. Get it back up against the car better so it doesn't get close to the headers. There's not a lot of room down through there. But anyway, the crank position sensor that comes out of this harness that goes to the bottom of the car. There's your rear O2. There's your body ground. There's the starter. There's the front O2. And then here's the knock sensor. Got to shorten that wire. When I was pulling the body off the motor, I forgot that one and broke it. But anyway, I just got one of those on there. I got some good heat wrap things with the solder already in them. Those things work really good. I love them. But anyway, I'm gonna shorten that and put that on there. But I pulled this out of that loom that went to the bottom of the car, so I can run it across the top here. And I already ohmed this out. The yellow wire, which is that one right there, it's hard to tell what color they are where they're so old and been exposed to the elements, but I already ohmed that out to pin 1 and it was good to go. It goes to that pin, and like I said, that's the pin Paul said from Torqhead was the pin that's going to run the flex fuel sensor. Now, I was also looking on this. I don't know a lot about wiring and how this works. I mean, I know basic stuff, but one of these is supposed to be a 12-volt hot, and one's supposed to be a ground, but somehow that ground is supposed to tie into the opti somehow. So, and then, you know, you got the computer out to the computer, which is exactly what the sensor needs. The sensor has VCC, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says VCC out, VC out, or no, it just says V out. That goes to the computer, and then in the middle it says GND, which is ground, and then the bottom is VCC, which is your 12 volts in. So once I get the Torqhead computer hooked back up, I'm going to test to see if one of these has 12 volts. If so, I can just put a wire loom on that, tape it up right there, put a wire loom on it, and just run it back there. And I already have the lines off. What I was going to do was I was just going to cut some of that off, maybe, I'm not sure, and then just put one of those 3/8 compression couplers on there. And I might have to, like I said, I might have to cut some of that off and shorten it up a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to try the compression coupler from the end of that to the end of this and just see how far it sticks out and see if it'll be okay like that. If not, I'll just cut that back, and I'll even cut this back and then put the compression coupler on there. I'll just have to see how much room I got, because I'm putting the coils. If you've seen any of my other videos, my coils hang down from the rail, and the coils actually go right there. But I don't know if this being way out here and then that being way up there, I don't know if that'll cause a problem or not. Well, you couldn't see that good. Like I said, I don't know if that up there and then this way back here will work any good. So, but I don't know. We'll try it. And if it don't, then we'll cut it some and try again. See how it fits, and then hopefully the coils clear everything like they did before. But that's where we're at. I mean, it's really beneficial if you got a 96, 97 harness and you're wanting to run flex fuel. I mean, it's already ran. It's just run to your crank sensor, that 4x reluctor down there, and all it does on the 96, 97 models is for misfire detection. That's all it does. It doesn't keep your car from starting or any of that. It just, if your car is missing, it tries to tell you what cylinder it's on. But I don't know, I've had misses before when this was all regular, and I had a coil go out, Well, that was when I had LTCC. But I had a coil go out, and it wasn't able to tell me, which it was still using the crank sensor, but it wasn't able to tell me what coil it was. It just said P0300, random misfire. But we, luckily the coil went completely out, so all I had to do was pull a wire, look for spark, pull a wire, look for spark, and found the one that was bad. I even forget which one it was, but anyway, that's where we're on the Torqhead swap to Flex Fuel. I'm wanting to do, I guess they're going to send me, I paid the money to have them go ahead and send me a bass tune, because I was wanting to drive it to get a dyno tune. And I'm wanting to do the Flex Fuel, so I guess I gotta, he said something about adding a segment from a 2002 Tahoe. And I think I've researched enough to know how to do that, but if anybody has any exact instructions, I mean, I've seen a few things online, but it wasn't real specific. I saw where they put in a segment from a 4L60E to a 4L80E swap, so I'm thinking it's pretty much the same thing, except for you pick the fuel one instead of the transmission one, so hopefully that's the case. But anyway, that's where I'm at.